Hari Om. We are doing everything for Hari, or we are doing everything for Prithvi Devi. And couple of amazing quick um, announcements that you all might have already seen or heard. A lot of us um, help make this happen. Over past 2 years, the level of sort of fundraising and support that you all offered, it's extraordinary and amazing. And a lot of it is towards Prithvi Devi. Different organizations and just sharing that as a shout out to you all. And a quick update of dedicating to Devi. Most of us are participating into dedicating to Devi. It's almost coming up to close, but couple of things about it. Those who don't know about dedicating to Devi, we all have been contributing $1 a day since the initiative started, challenge started. We have been chanting Om Lam Prithvi Namaha, really grounding ourselves and getting deep into chanting at least 1 minute a day at a minimum. Few little ones have joined too. And we have tried to say one action, do one action for Prithvi Devi once a day, something preferably different, shorter shower. Oh, this time I'm not buying my favorite most Twinkies because they're coming in plastic wrap. Um, all other different things, actions like that. And on our dedicating to Devi WhatsApp group, there's amazing insights and all different things many of us are sharing on and off, some inspiration. The recent one about Navratri was, oh, let's really celebrate Navratri as focused as our Devi for whom we are actually celebrating this as. So if you haven't joined the Dedicated to Devi WhatsApp group, or if you're not participating in it, please feel free to do so. And that's Dedicating to Devi check-in. And let's begin our workshop today. Really, really critical and amazing topic, um, greening electricity. And maybe many of you know Nitin already. So our speaker today is Nitin Chopra, and he's from our Washington, D.C. Center. He has 2 kiddos, works professionally, full-time, busy person. At the same time, you will see the amazing dedication and integrity. He is a person who will take out time, find you, and help you really sign up for green electricity. He has so many examples and ideas and truly living and walking the talk. That has been my experience. So, Nitin, I just want to pass on the slideshow to you to help us and guide us through the process.
Thank you, Suji. Let me share my screen. All right, can you see my screen?
Yep.
All right, let's get started. So thank you for that intro. And for whatever it is worth, my older one actually was proofreading my presentation and helping me out quite a bit. So again, want to start with a big thank you for everyone to join and spend this hour listening to this green electricity conversation. And I know time is precious. It's Monday evening. So, and a very big thank you for the Prithvi Sevasanga to bring us all together. So again, I'll try to be quick. There's a lot to cover, but from my perspective, it is super simple. I have not found in my last 6-7 years of this progressive journey of cutting down our family's carbon footprint, I've not found anything as substantive as green electricity which helped us pivot 30% of our carbon footprint out of the picture in 1 minute. So I think this is a quote from Gurudev, super inspiring. It's all about comfort, right? So it comes as a guest, lingers to become a host, and it enslaves us. So, quick agenda. I will be talking about big and macro stuff today. I think I've shared this earlier. My family's carbon footprint has been cut down by 60% over the past 5 years. So I want to share the part of the journey today. So if you can look at the agenda, I'll quickly talk about the why. We'll cover the household carbon emissions and why I think green electricity is a low-hanging fruit. And I'll share my story from where I started and where we are as a family. And again, the topic is going to be green electricity. Let's actually warm things up, start with a quiz, if you want to call this as a quiz. I would love to hear everyone's response, A, B, C, or D. And again, no judgments over here. I was very much an A for the longest time. I still think I'm an A in a lot of things that I do today. So we are all in this together. Zoe, you might have to time for 5-10 seconds or whatsoever the timer is. I don't think it's going to be too hard. Just pick whatever you think is the answer. And Zoe, if you can collate or someone can collate and just share.
I am looking at the chat messages and I'm seeing mostly A's and B's.
Yeah.
Just 1 or 2 C's, but pretty much everyone A's and B's.
I'm totally with you. I think A and B is where I have spent most of my time. But like I said, I don't work for an electricity company. So this is not promoting A versus, I mean, any specific company over here. But I think specifically for the green electricity, we do not have to get overwhelmed. There are some simple steps that we can take. So let me quickly walk you through. I know everyone mostly understands the challenge, but let me have a quick level set over here. So if you can see in the chart, and again, there are so many charts, you might have seen in the introductory chart also that electricity forms 25% of our carbon footprint. And then if you add the fact that we are also finding the transportation solution also through electricity, it's pretty much going to be 50% part of 50% part of the problem, right? Electricity is what we need for everything. So if you can see, there is 59% of the carbon dioxide which remains in the atmosphere, and that is what's heating up the planet. So I'll pivot to the next slide, which is funny and sad at the same time. I was told by someone that my presentations are too sadistic, so I've tried to put some images to bring a smile, if this brings a smile. But yeah, I mean, I wish climate was a bank and we could have saved it. So this is relevant to the topic. So I would love to ask, and again, unfortunately, the data that I have is a lot US or North America centric, but I don't think the picture anywhere in the world looks very different. So give it a shot. Again, a quick one. What do you think an average family's energy consumption is going to be?
Then I'm seeing most C's and couple of B's.
Yeah, so it's actually B, but I want to reinstate one point over here that for all well-to-do families, it's probably going to be a lot more than the number that is over here in the V. You remember the second slide, right? It's all about comfort. In summers, we need more air conditioning, and in winters, we need more heating. So I do not know what's the source of heating at your households. Fortunately for me, it is electricity and not a lot of gas for me. So yeah, I mean, the number is going to be, in my experience, 17,000, 20,000 plus, depending on the size of your home. Nothing right, nothing wrong. We all want to be comfortable. And one thing to amplify over here, 1 kilowatt of energy production, and I'll talk some technical terms. Hopefully, it's not going to be too dense, but I have always struggled. What does it mean? 10,900, what does it mean? So it means, in simple terms, that in today's day and age, for consuming 11,000 kilowatt hours of electricity, we are pretty much producing 9,300 pounds of carbon dioxide, or releasing 9,300 pounds of carbon dioxide. So, and 1 gallon produces close to 1 gallon of burning fuel when we are driving, produces around 20 pounds of carbon dioxide. So if you are producing close to 11,000 kilowatt hours of carbon dioxide by using electricity, that equates to driving your car for 10,500 miles, which is close to average of a person driving, right? We drive 11, 12,000 miles a year. That's what we give our insurances. So the impact is pretty much the same. So let's move on. Let's talk about the low-hanging fruit. I think it's more prevalent now because after COVID, a lot of us work from home. I know in my household, the electricity consumption actually went up after 2020. So I think we are probably looking at most of the households having a similar story. So this is data for my household. I actually was at a Chinmay Mission presentation by an interfaith group, and we talked about green electricity over there. In fact, they talked about green electricity over there. And I came back home. It took me 5 minutes, and I felt so good because the more I dig deeper into this topic, the more I realized that there is nothing out there where 5 minutes of my time and a few extra dollars can relieve me of the guilt of or take away that 30% of the carbon footprint in one shot. So if you can see over here, I have talked about electricity consumed. There could be emissions, and then the actual emissions, right? So again, it's green electricity. But let me talk about the math a little bit so that you also get a context in terms of what does it mean? How much does it cost? Expensive, less expensive? So in my experience, green electricity is usually 10 to 15% more expensive. But one thing to clarify over here is there are lots of things which goes into when you talk about your electricity bill. Your electricity bill has two charges: electricity charges and delivery charges. So there are some places where you can actually pick your electricity provider. I'll talk about that. I'll share some examples. And there are some states where you do not have that free choice. It's funny that we have to start using the word free choice even with electricity now. But yeah, there are states which let you pick your electricity provider. So I think the point I'm trying to explain through this slide is, I'm taking Maryland as an example. I live in Maryland. Our electricity charges are approximately 55% of the electricity bill. Delivery charges are 45%. And that 45% always remains constant. So when you buy green electricity, you are only going to see that 10% or 15% bump on your electricity charges, not on your delivery charges. So when I say it is 10 to 15% more expensive, you probably will only see a 7%, 6% impact and not 10 to 15% because half of your charges are pretty much fixed. I'm taking Maryland as an example. I don't think the US is going to be very different. It might be 60-40 in some places. It might be 50-50 in some places. So here is an example where I wanted to just share that. So in US, the average today is, and this is an average, when we share this presentation, when we share more information, there are links where you can check what is the situation in your state in terms of how much electricity is produced through coal, natural gas, and nuclear now, and how much comes from green sources or renewable sources. The renewable sources, wherever you go, it's 6%, 7%, 10%, and 60%. Yeah, I mean, that's the average. So you can check that out. But if you look at over here, very quick, if you switch from your regular electricity provider to a green electricity provider, or select the green power as an option, if you do not have the choice, your electricity bill goes up by 5.5%. Let's assume it is 10% and not 5.5. Even with the numbers that you see over here, it's actually cheaper than an Amazon Prime subscription. So just keep that in mind, right? So Amazon Prime is $140. I'm sure everyone has that membership. So can we afford one more Amazon Prime and tell our kids, and or if you don't have kids, tell your nieces and nephews that hey, we are off 30%. So I felt great about it, and yeah, I mean, I'm not good at these, but yeah. So we'll take questions in a little bit, but I think you got the crux of where we are heading, and what I want to show real quick is, if you look at this, like I started by saying that there are states which gives you energy choice, and there are states which do not give you, and this is specific to electricity. So again, you can see where your state belongs on this list. And I live in Maryland. We are a free energy choice state. I, for the longest time, thought that's a good thing. But as I'm researching more, I've started realizing that maybe states who do not give you a choice and give you a simple option that check the check mark and you are off to the races, maybe that's a good option. Because for me, I might have to look for a cheaper or a better energy provider every 2 years or 3 years. So again, I don't think there is one is great and the other one is not so great. Both deliver the same outcome, but just keep that in mind. And again, I know there are some folks who are joining from Canada. I don't have any particular information today, but I'm pretty positive with some research we can find things which are relevant for all of us. Next slide. I wanted to share this. This is coming from Portland, right? So one of our members, and the instructions came from the member itself. So if you look at this, this is an electric bill, I think. Yeah, that's the bill, right? So the Colorado is not Colorado, but Oregon is a state which does not give you the choice. You have to go with your current electricity provider. And the choice and the option was as simple as selecting the greener future choice. And boom, you're done. I would tell everyone, and I'll request everyone, when you do this research for yourself, you will see a lot of credit card offers. You'll get not credit card, a gift card, $100 gift card. You will see options which are a little cheaper. The purpose of this is for you to switch to green electricity and not to find a cheaper coal source. So please stick with what we are talking over here. That's a request. But yeah, I mean, most of the times it is going to be as simple as what you see on the screen. If you live in the state which do not give you the option or the opportunity to go and shop around, everyone has given an option for you to select your green energy option. And again, I can talk about the 3 or 4 options that you will see, but one more realization is you should always select the option which does the most of the investments in your state and in your local area, because we all breathe the same air, but the air quality will differ in terms of how green your state is or not, right? So, and that might be a slightly more expensive option. So this is Wisconsin. You can see it clearly states at the bottom over here that if you go by 25% level, your electricity bill goes up by $1.91. And if you go by 100% level, this is again a state which doesn't allow you to go and find an electricity provider. Your bill goes up by $7.64. Extrapolated, this is for 660 kilowatt hours, make it 1,000. You're talking about $10, $11 a month. That's pretty much it. And I will show you a few examples. So this is the situation in Maryland. The second one is Illinois. And I'll walk you through a couple of demos right now. So I'll show you, at least in my case, if I have a choice to switch, how easy it is. You just need your electricity bill, you need your service address, and the account number. That's pretty much it. 5 minutes, you're done. And they show you whether it has a contract or not. If the contract is there, I don't see a reason why you will be breaking the contract. And it never costs you more than $5 to $12 or $15 a month extra. So the next slide is where I'll actually try and do a demo. So the first link actually takes you for you to clearly see whether your state allows you to select your energy provider or not. The second one is an interesting tool. So this is a Green E certified site, which will show you, and I'll go to the site, I'll show it to you what it produces. It actually shows you all the providers which are Green E certified. Now, again, I think that certification means something, but my humble request is if you find something which is way more expensive in each state, there are too many options, especially for the states where you can select your provider, that do not get muddled up with what you're seeing in Green E certified providers. And again, the dream agenda of having a session like this will be that you folks will share who you have picked your energy provider, and we can all craft a list and make this as a running list, which others can refer and you can refer if we find cheaper providers, right? And at the end of the day, if more people switch, more people use, there will be more production. The prices come down; they do not go up, right? That's how the world works. More demand might spike the price for short term, but it also means that more capacity will be added, and it is being added. So let's take a look at this link. I've clicked on the Green E certified link. I have on this, I'm going to select the product type. It is going to be residential renewable electricity. I am going to pick Maryland as a state. And it shows me 3 options, right? And if you look at when I was, so let's click on WGL. And I go to WGL's website. And again, the process is the same for every state. The way the world works is when you try to demo something, the live links do not work. Can you see my screen? Can you still see the browser? Okay, great. Let's see. All right, it's thinking. But again, I think you get the gist. I'll show you a demo for sure in a second. There you go. So help me choose. Start here. Residential. My zip code is 20832. Electricity. I'll select both just so that we all can see. And what you're looking for, what you should be looking for are these green options, right? 50% wind power. I don't care for the reward dollars over here, but you will see that for the 1 year time period, the pricing is 12.18. And if I have to select something on the call, I might go with the second last option over here, 11.80, 2 years, and I'll take that $50 rewards card also. So it is actually as simple as that. I have to enter my account number, and that is pretty much it. There you go. The customer name, address, all that is pretty standard. And it is asking for my Pepco account number. I don't have to do anything. Now, one thing I want to make sure that everyone is clear about, when you are switching your electricity provider. So in my case, Pepco is the company which has laid out the infrastructure for delivering those electricity. And Pepco is always going to be my delivery company, right? So Pepco is going to charge me for the delivery charges. So if there is a storm, if there is a disruption, anything happens, you're still going to call your delivery company, which is the company which owns the network, which takes the delivery charges from you. Pepco actually doesn't care much whether you're buying electricity from them or buying through someone else. They are protective about their delivery charges. So that is something that I have heard a lot, where folks are like, who do we call? I will probably not ever call WGL. I'll always work with Pepco. And I've never had a chance in the last 5 years where I have to make a call. But if you have to, you'll always call your company that is going to deliver your electricity bill. As simple as that. So, like I said, it is as easy as this. And there are other choices in Maryland. I'm happy to share with folks who are from Maryland. And again, hopefully we'll get to the point where we'll have a similar list for all the other states. So last thing before I switch the topic, please look for that windmill option. Please look for the green energy option. And whichever way the math is going to play out, keep in mind your mileage may vary between a Disney subscription and Amazon Prime subscription. You'll probably not have to pay for another Netflix account. It is going to be between these two. So, which I think is an amazing deal if you think 30% carbon footprint, which equates to pretty much driving your car for 15,000, 20,000 miles in a year, right? That's a lot of carbon emissions. All right. So now you must be wondering, I've talked about 2019, not 1990, 2019 and 2020 as when I started the green electricity story. So yeah, I mean, this is something which happened to me. Uh, we got solar, and I am super super happy and grateful for having solar because it gives me so much joy when I see that during the day I am producing more than what I consume, and we are giving back to the grid. Uh, Quick question for everyone, because I think all this is interrelated. Can you tell me? We all know trees suck up carbon dioxide from our atmosphere. Can you guess what's the number over here? And this is for 1 year, right? So how much can a tree take from the atmosphere? 50, 79, and 10 or 108?
I'm seeing most Bs 1C, 1A so far.
Yeah. So unfortunately, the answer is A. And I think what took me a while to appreciate was it's not that the answer is A. Okay, it is A, but more importantly, I'm talking about a mature tree over here. It takes 10 years for a tree to become mature. So imagine the journey when a tree started. It probably started with 5, 7, 10, and eventually it gets to 10 years of age. And by the time someone needs that tree for something else, and we also have a deforestation problem, right? So I'll talk about what that means just for my family, my numbers, right? So you can see our consumption is actually pretty stable now. We don't have an EV yet because I work from home. My wife also works from home most of the times, and my fear is if I sell my uh, ICE vehicle, someone is going to drive it a lot more than I do, and there will be more carbon emissions. But yeah, I think the day will come when the next vehicle is going to be EV. It's just about when do we need it. So, like you can see over here, I have equated the carbon reduction to the number of trees that it will take for us to equate just the electricity part of the equation, right? So I know we do not have an EV, so I'm not charging my EV with my uh, electricity bill or electricity meter. So for me, it is 35%. That's my calculation. And this is all government data. Nothing is manufactured over here. So look at this. Just for one family, my family, I need 1,133 mature trees to negate the carbon that uh, gets released in the atmosphere through our actions, right? Now, just look around you and think about what do you see? Do you see more trees or do you see more opportunities on how the carbon is getting released? So, I mean, this was something that has stuck with me. And then when you look at all those climate goals that we need to do this and that, so I think we have dual problems. We have a problem of deforestation. And secondly, the other big problem is the electricity consumption. So I'm actually close to wrapping this up and happy to take questions. So I want to also share the economics of my family going solar. Now, this was 2020. I know there are things which have changed. One thing is that panels are a little bit more expensive, but at my time, the tax credit was 26% federal. Now it is 30%. And again, I think the opportunities, the technology always will get better. So there is never a bad time to go solar. And personally, I think it makes a lot of financial sense it is a great diversification vehicle for me, and I'm going to share that with some numbers. So we paid $35,000 out of the pocket. We got $10,000 back, and my electricity bill is $2,200 a year. I get $950 back in SRECs. If any one of you do not know what is SREC, when electricity companies, pretty much all companies in every state, when they're not able to produce enough green electricity on their own, they buy SRECs from exchanges, and people like me get paid for putting all that capacity on our roof, right? So in my case, it will take 7 years to get $25,000 back, because I ultimately paid $25,000. I do not know any other way where I have paid $9,000 in federal taxes and I'll ever get $9,000 back. In this case, I did. So 7 years, the panel age is 25 years. It is warranted to work for 25 years. Even if the consumption goes down, I'm going to be free in 7 years. And this is one enhancement or one improvement which actually pays back even when you sell the home. It enhances the value of your roof because it is not getting beaten down by the weather the same way your roof is going to be anyways. And this is now 10-15 years since people are using this. So I've also heard stories that people think the shingles are going to be weakened when you're going to put those panels. These are all standard industry practices. It's being done every day, thousands of households. So I would tell you my experience, 3 years, not a single problem. So again, I would advise everyone to start with green electricity and keep exploring the solar option. So pretty easy choice. If you see, I'm sure everybody likes those green colors. And yeah, I mean, so three options, right? One is sign up with a green electricity provider. This is easy, 5 minutes. It took me a couple of years to figure out the solar piece. I'm sure solar is an investment. There are so many options out there. I'm happy to talk about my story. I have at least helped 10 other families in my social circle go solar. So I can talk about some examples over here if you want to have a one-on-one. And the second thing is when I went solar, you have to appreciate the fact that there is a consumer and then there is a prosumer, right? So we are giving it back to the grid, but most importantly, I have retained my green electricity. So whatever little we are going to consume, I want zero to remain zero. I don't want zero carbon dioxide emissions from electricity to become even 1,000 pounds. Because why? Right? It's such a small price, and when you have traveled to the brighter side, you don't want to come back to the darker side. So again, festival season is coming. So give yourself, your family, and your kids the gift of green electricity. And that's pretty much it. Last two things is this is the ultimate wish list. You will also get a follow-up survey if you switch, when you switch. If you need help, please let us know, and would love to track where did everyone land and what is the impact of something like this. And I think it's gonna be a feat worth celebrating as a community. So I'll shut up now, and it's time for Q&A.
Everyone sort of knows, feel free to raise your hand as you're thinking about the questions. One question that I had, Nitin, was can people in apartments sign up for green electricity? People who don't own their home?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. I can tell you, I have seen dual experiences. Sometimes when you live in an apartment, you are being forced to go with a specific energy provider based on the contract that your apartment complex has. But I have also seen scenarios where you're free to choose your electricity provider. So if you live in a free choice state, I personally think it should be, unless until your provider has some specific restrictions on you have to keep getting your electricity from the specific provider. So I think the blanket answer would be yes, there might be exceptions.
Hi, thanks for the wonderful presentation. I think this was great. How do you, I have one question which I struggle with in a way that choosing the right company to install your solar. I mean, there's so many choices and so many variations of the same thing. And on one hand, we have Tesla with the excellent thing, but on the other hand, they have local companies who also kind of say the same thing. I think that's kind of a struggle for me to really navigate through that in my state.
So Pratik, where are you based out of? Excellent question. I was in the same boat.
Wisconsin, yeah.
Wisconsin. Yeah, so I'll tell you my experience, and happy to chat afterwards on this topic. So my experience was very similar. I took a quote from Tesla, and again, taking quote from Tesla is going to their website. You rarely talk to a human being unless until you go too far. But I personally went with the local company, and I went with the local company and picked the panels which were made in USA and not coming from our friendly Asian neighborhood. And specifically because, I mean, you want to see the impact in your community, right? So more jobs, more impact. And honestly, the price was pretty competitive. I paid a couple of cents extra in terms of, not a couple of cents, I think 8, 9 cents extra on the grand scheme of things. But if I look at the fact that we paid $35,000, I think the Tesla's warranty was lower. Tesla's price was $34,000. And the panels that were made in USA were 35. The panels that were not made in USA were 34,500. So it was pretty much a no-brainer. And the company that I went with, they have 30 years of warranty. So again, I think you get more leeway, and you have to look at the stability of the company and all those good things. But the company that I went with has been booming, and they are a major job creator in the local economy over here. So again, win-win in every respect. Vedaji, go for it. You're on mute, I think.
Thank you, Nitinji. I have a house in Florida, in Orlando, and the issue I'm having actually are two. One is, I know in Maryland you said 30-year warranty, but when I researched, my biggest concern was that these solar companies, they give these long-term warranties, but they go out of business. That was the biggest issue for me. And from one I looked up, it was close to now $60,000 to invest for solar panels, and where they're giving quotes.
Yeah. So did you check Tesla in this case?
I did not. Because
I would absolutely suggest to look everywhere, right? Tesla is a big name. They definitely have volumes. You should check, right? And I can tell you that the company that I went with, its name is Solar Energy World. And I know for sure they have a big presence in Florida now. I do not know whether they are working in the Orlando market or not. The company started very small. They are huge now. I don't think they're going to go out of business. And again, we all have to appreciate panels are very similar to our TVs and other electric devices that we use, right? And this technology has matured to the extent that it is not something which is just going to stop working. So in my 3 years, never had a problem except once. there was some microinverter which was going off. The company was doing remote monitoring, and they fixed it without me even realizing what has happened, and they told me it has been fixed. So again, like I said, go with the stable company. I'm glad you are doing that research where you know companies are going out of business. You should be careful of that, but check Tesla also. Why not?
Okay. And the second part of the question is more structural. Is at some point your roof needs maintenance or replacement or new roof. Or if it's a tile roof, if people walk on it, the tiles break. Those are the maintenance issues, and which is has been giving me a pause of having people come up on how do I mean, it's not asphalt, these are tiles, and how do I even go about that? That's a hassle I did not want to face.
Yeah. So I first thing is I want to give a plug for why we are all here. Before you go too deep into finding who is going to do solar for you, please switch to green electricity.
Yes.
I think that is going to serve you even when you are going to have solar, right? Because you're still going to consume electricity in the night, and it takes some time. But in my case, again, I don't think I got lucky. I think that is how it is structured. The company that I went with, Solar Energy World, they also have a sister company which is in roof maintenance. So again, I do not know what the age of the roof is and how things are, but it's a valid concern. But in my experience, my research tells me the age of the roof is actually going to get better after you install panels, because panel is going to take all the weather and it's not going to come on the roof. So again, I'm sorry, I don't have very concrete answers, but this is something which is more of that gray, which you will have to research. And again, if you want, I can spend some time, share more about what I have learned and what I have researched, and happy to have a follow-up conversation.
I would love to, when if I can get your contact information, I would love to follow up, because I'm seriously thinking of getting, this is the conversation my husband and I have. He wants me to go ahead and get it, and I'm reluctant on these issues. So.
But if you're going to connect, I'll first make sure that you are switched to green electricity.
Yes, that's going to be a definite. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for the presentation. So I stay in an apartment right now, but as I think about where to settle and eventually buy a home, I was curious if there are any advice that you'd share to do that in a more eco-conscious way. Like, are there things that I should look for even in the construction of the home, where it's located, etc., which makes it easier to be off the grid, like we talked about today?
Yeah, I'll be quick. Don't want to hog all the time, but I'll tell you something that has influenced me over the years, or how things have changed for me. So first of all, even in an apartment, I think you should look if there is a green electricity provider. Won't be surprised if there is one, because you pay your electricity bill. Unless your electricity bill is rolled in your apartment rent, it is your choice. So whether it is a free choice state, or you are free to, or the company provides an option, you should be able to switch. And most of the times, there is no penalty when you break it. And in this case, you're going to break it when you're going to move, right? So in my specific case, I moved from Ohio to Maryland. I was very happy that in Ohio, my home had gas heating, and it sucked for a while that the home in Maryland had electric heating. But now, having solar and understanding the impact that my family and all of us produce, I'm actually happy that my electricity impact is getting nullified by the solar and the green electricity. So that's one small tip, right? What was a sore point for me for the first couple of years when we moved into this house? Oh my God, my electricity bill. has become a thing that is a story now, that I'm glad I have very less gas dependency, because I always thought gas is more efficient. Gas is absolutely more efficient, but the amount of methane that gets released when gas has to be extracted out is humongous. So I don't think it is any better for the planet. So, and again, I'm pretty sure there are builders who are more into ecological home building. There are lots of things. So green homes are a thing now. So I would certainly recommend you to look around. There has to be those options, but please switch to a green electricity provider when you get a chance.
I also wanted to quickly inform everyone. Next month, we have our next Prithvi Seva workshop, which is on the American Thanksgiving on November 26th. And it's a little bit different. It's than what we've normally been doing. So it's actually from the younger members of our society who have gone a step further already, and they have actually signed up to come up with an idea as a team, and they are actually going to be pitching that idea next month. So the whole team of these inspiring pioneers who have taken up this challenge to make a difference will actually be pitching in their ideas. And what better way for us to celebrate Thanksgiving? And at least I feel like that's the least we can do to actually support them and make sure we are there for them. So they will pitch in that idea. So if you guys can all join and support them, that'll be great. So that's going to be next month on November 26th, same time, same link. So if you guys can join, that'll be great. Thank you, everyone. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.